Greetings, guys. I am Philip, and I live here in Brazil, as you can see, most precisely here, more precisely actually, here at the state of São Paulo, in the seat of São Paulo, here in Brazil. As you can see, Brazil is a pretty big country, you know. And this, for you that you are US based, is our Fifth Avenue, is Avenida Paulista. Paulista is the adjective we give for people who were born here in São Paulo, Paulista. And this is our Fifth Avenue, and this is in the Avenida Paulista, the Museu de Arte de São Paulo. It's São Paulo Arts Museum. And this is our Times Square. Every New Year's Eve, there's a great party over here that we celebrate, and most of the events here in the city are celebrated here at this at the MASP, you know. And I would like to talk about today about Tableau CRM. And the first rule about Tableau CRM is you don't talk about Tableau CRM. And the second rule about Tableau CRM, no, I'm just kidding. The first rule of Tableau CRM is that Tableau CRM is a different product from Tableau, guys. Let me clarify this again. Tableau CRM is a different product from Tableau. What is Tableau? Tableau is a company that displays some tools of manipulating and visualization and data visualization for data sets and have connections with data, just like Tableau CRM. But Tableau CRM was a company that was acquired by Salesforce in 2019. Okay, and Tableau CRM, formerly known as Einstein Analytics and previously formerly known as Wave, is Salesforce's own BI and analytics solution. Okay, so Tableau, it was a company that provided BI and analytics tool, and Tableau CRM, it was Salesforce own. It is Salesforce own analytics and BI tool. Okay, and Tableau was acquired by Salesforce in 2019. Okay, so we are talking here by completely different products, but that does the exact same thing. Okay, what's the main difference between them? Well, I would say at first, because Tableau, you can have an on-premise version. You can install Tableau in your desktop or in your laptop, and you also have the cloud version, the Tableau server and Tableau online, where you can create visualizations online and share it via Tableau server. Okay, Tableau CRM, on the other hand, is only available on cloud, on Salesforce. You have to have Salesforce license, Tableau CRM permission set licenses in your org from Salesforce, and you can't share your visualizations and dashboards with people outside Salesforce. They must have a Salesforce license to access your dashboards and data using Tableau CRM. Okay, and this is Tableau CRM right here. You can create, I don't know if you already created your org with Tableau CRM, but you just type Analytics Studio, and this is the Analytics Studio. By the way, this is the Tableau logo that was rebranded once Salesforce acquired Tableau. Okay, previously it was the Einstein, you know, this little one right here. And this is the Analytics Studio. This is the place where we build our data sets, our visualizations, our everything that we will use, and most importantly, our apps. Our apps here are different than our apps in the Salesforce setup itself, in the app launcher. Okay, unlike the app launcher and the apps here in Tableau. Is this a question? Well, continue. Unlike Tableau, unlike Salesforce apps, Tableau CRM do restrict what you have access inside Tableau CRM. They work like default Salesforce reports and dashboard folders, more like this. You know, think of the apps here in Tableau CRM like more or less like Tableau Salesforce reports and dashboard folders. Okay. And the first thing about Tableau CRM is that you need to, after enabling and creating your org with it, let's go to settings over here, analytics. We type analytics and go to analytics settings. And first of all, let's take a quick look at these permissions over here, because this is what enables. The first one right here is the most important one. This is the one that enables you to load data from your Salesforce org into Tableau CRM. If you don't enable this, you can't pull data from your Salesforce org and load it into Tableau CRM, okay? This is the most important one. This was disabled by default on I think before 2022 or 2021 orgs, but now is always enabled by default, okay? So when you are in Tableau CRM, for example, and you're in your data manager over here, and you can't see this connect tab over here, it's because your enable data sync and connection is disabled right here, okay? And as you can see, there are another different connections to be enabled here. You can enable or disable then depending on which one you will use, okay? And we have Tableau Online output connection, meaning that we can load data from Salesforce to Tableau Online right now, okay? So we have Tableau CRM and we have Tableau Online now, but we can send data from Salesforce to Tableau CRM if we enable this output connection right here, okay? Of course, you also need to do some configurations and Tableau Online level, but first you need to enable this and send your connection, enable your connection here at your Salesforce org from the data manager into an outside org. We're going to cover that in a little bit later. Just let me show you more things, a little more about here, these permissions, okay? You can share your Tableau CRM dashboards with your communities. Your community user will have access to data sets and your dashboards, okay? But you have to enable this here. And after this, you need to insert your dashboards into the community via the community builder, the experience builder. I think it's the experience builder now it's called, right? But this is the one that you enable to share your dashboards with your communities, okay? You can grant all users access to a Wave API. I think you need to have this enabled if you want to use your analytics event monitoring app, where you can monitor events, org events with the there's a different license. We're going to talk about this later, but you can monitor your events APIs with an app from Tableau CRM. And this is one of the permissions that you have to have enabled, okay? Saved views. This is very useful. We are going to cover this on the dashboard, but a saved view is basically a snapshot of your dashboard, not a snapshot in a time sense manner, but in a way, for example, once we enter the dashboard, you're going to see that we're going to have make all selections of filters of different groupings and stuff. We can select lots of different things because the dashboards are very dynamic. And if you want to save your dashboard, oh, I want to save this dashboard with these particular selections, and instead of every time I keep entering the dashboard and have to change the selections again and again, I prefer to save this view and just open this view, and my selections will always be loaded once I open this dashboard. This is what saved views does, okay? So it's enabled by default, but if your users are asking for, oh, I want to save, if it's possible to save these configurations of filters in the dashboard, you know that they are talking about views, and you need to enable them to save their views from the dashboards, okay? I'm not going to cover all of them, but I encourage you that you that are learning about the Tableau CRM to enter here the sections and learn about all about these permissions over here, okay? This is a brand new feature that was released at first of this year, January this year, you know, with the release. There are custom time zones that you can support. I encourage you to study a lot because of this, on this topic, because this changes all your data fields inside Tableau CRM. The syntax get all different, and all your interactions, bindings, etc. Every topic that we are going to cover later will be changed if only on the date fields if you enable this for your org. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about the actual rule from Tableau CRM. Let's choose an object right here. You see, I'm showing this right before entering Tableau CRM, but I need to show this because this is very important, guys. For example, I'm selecting account field name, but it could be any field. And I'm setting the field level security. I know that the account name is a required field, so it will always be visible, but not all fields are required. And if the Analytics Cloud integration user over here doesn't have access to the field, you won't be able to bring that field into Tableau CRM and loading it into your dashboards and data sets and data. So doesn't matter if your profile has or has not access in the field here at Salesforce. If you want to see that field in Tableau CRM, the Analytics Cloud integration user must have access to this field. Okay. But most of the errors that you face on the data flows, I faced several problems from different clients that, oh, my data flow stopped running. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I received this error saying that the integration user doesn't have access to the field. Once, for example, if the field is on the Tableau CRM in a data flow and the data flow runs, and you disable here at the field level security the permission for that field for the integration user, the data flow will crash. The data won't be refreshed into their dashboards, and your customer will have problems. So every time you are going to disable field level security from now on in our org that has Tableau CRM, please ask first if the field that you are going to disable the permissions or deleting is available on Tableau CRM. Okay, because deleting the field or removing the permission for Analytics Cloud integration will cause the data flow to crash, and you won't be able to load your data anymore. So you have to you have to give permission again, remove the filter, remove the field from the data flow, sorry, and then uncheck the permission again. Okay. So the integration user is the one user that you have that needs to have the permission for the objects and the fields for the objects and the fields be available into Tableau CRM. Okay. Cool. Now we're in Tableau CRM into the Analytics Studio itself. And if we click, basically you can see the notifications. You can set notifications, for example, to receive an email or something like that once your visualization or your dashboard reaches, for example, oh, I want, if the sum of opportunity amounts for this dashboard reaches beyond $2 million, I want to receive an email notification. You can do this using Tableau CRM and visualizations as well. Okay. You can add it to a watch list. I never used watch lists, guys, and I don't know any clients that use it so far, but they prefer a lot using the dashboards. But you can create definitely a watch list for your widgets. Okay. And this is the items, all items, the favorite items, the share with me, and the created by me. The created by me, we have our apps, our dashboards, or stories. Stories are models from predictions of Einstein discovery that were generated with data sets. Okay, we're not going to talk about that, but just for you know, as a story is basically a Einstein discovery model for predictions. Okay, a lens is a observation or a visualization of a particular data set that you can save. For example, let's suppose that your dashboards doesn't have all the visualizations the way you want. You can, the dashboards have a more, how can I say, global view, but you want a more granular view. We want a little different view from the dashboard. You can create your own and save as a lens. And here are your data sets. Our data sets is the building blocks of Tableau CRM. Okay. Those are these are the things that we use to build our everything, the lenses, the dashboards. These are the Tableau CRM runs based on these ones. Okay, and those are very similar to Salesforce objects. The Salesforce object is basically a table. Okay, and also a data set is also a table. But the main difference here is that you can bring, do you know report types, the Salesforce default report types, where you can create up to 4 relationships between the objects? Here at Tableau CRM works just like that. You can create a table with different, but not just 4. You can create a table with data related for several different objects, as long, of course, they have a relationship between them. How do you know if an object has a relationship between them? How do we know when how to create our data or our data sets? We're going to cover the data set creation right in a moment, but there's a tool here called the Schema Builder. The Schema Builder, guys, is very helpful to understand what type of relationships your tables, your objects have inside Salesforce. This will help you a lot when you create your data sets, because you understand, oh, which object is the parent, which object is the son, which object is it a junction object or is it not? You know, this you need to have this very deep inside yourselves before creating the data set, because if you change the order of the relationship, and you can do that inside Tableau CRM, you change completely the view and the resulting data set, possibly resulting in data that you want to see or biases, you know. So the Schema Builder is always helpful to learn and understand what type of relations, for example, the user provisioning request has a self relationship, as I can see, you know. And I use this a lot when I, instead of asking the client, oh, which object is the parent, which object is the son, how do we want to create this relationship? Instead of asking the client, I look at his org Schema Builder and figure it by myself, okay? Now let's talk about the data manager. The data manager is the place that we use to create our data sets. As you can see, we can click create right here and use data set. Do you see all these options below right here? These options always use the data flow or the data manager. I'm going to show the data manager in a second. So you can create using a CSV file, or use Salesforce data or external data, or previously created data sets. You can create data sets from other data sets, okay? But these options right here always use the data manager. The only option that you can use to create a data set from a file directly right here, for example, is this one, where, for example, I loaded a CSV data. I am saving it at my private app, and you can change you can save it at the cluster app or Instant Prediction Service app, doesn't matter, okay? You can change right here, the delimiter, the encoding, the schema file, okay? And right here, as you can see, we have just 3 fields. This is just for showing purposes, but there's this capital A right beside of the field. And this is what I'm going to show you are called data types. In Tableau CRM, we have basically 3 data types, guys. The dimensions that are represented by this A right here that you are seeing. The measures that are represented by a plus sign. Those are the fields that we can calculate things, or we can sum, we can subtract, we can add, we can create calculations with these fields. You know, you can't calculate a dimension. For example, I can't. Well, what's the result of dashboard summed with label? We can't do that, you know, because those aren't numbers. Those are labels. But oh, and sorry, there's this final field that's called the dates. The dates are different fields than the dimensions. Once you create the date field, you can set its format if you are creating it via the data set. For example, here, as you can see, is month, day, and year, but you can change this to day, month, year, or year, month, separated by a slash. But you can change all this format once you are creating the data set. And the date fields are the only fields that generate date part fields. Date part fields are strings. For example, once I create a date field, it will generate the date, the year of the date, the month of the date, the quarter of the date, the day of the date, the week, the second, the minute, the hour, if it's a date hour field. Okay, all based, of course, in your org's default time zone. Okay, these date parts are generated based on your org's default time zone. Okay, and those date parts are not date fields. Those date parts are string, are dimensions. Okay, dimension field. But the date itself, the close date, they created, they still exist, and but those are date fields. Okay, so the date part fields are string fields, but the date fields are still dates. Okay, and I like to show these last two columns over here because, well, this is a misconception that sometimes we make when we are loading data into Tableau CRM, especially data from outside. Well, this looks like a number, right? So I will create this as a measure, but it would be wrong. Why would be wrong? This is numbers, right? And measures are numbers, not always, because as you can see, I put this Boolean value right beside it because these numbers represent Boolean values. 1 for true, 0 for false. And sometimes when you're connecting your data to external data, you won't receive a value of true or false. You will receive or 1 or 0, you know. And if you label this field and create it from external connections as a measure, you do calculations with the, oh, well, let's sum the numbers of one. No, you don't want to sum this. You want to, this is how, the Boolean value is not for calculations. The Boolean values are just to label or true or false. So you use this, you create this field as a dimension because you can group your data. Oh, I want to see how many counts of 1 equals true or how many counts of 1 equals false. You can do that by grouping the dimensions, not by summing the values inside our column. Okay. So this needs to be clarified for you guys. Most of the time, of course, the number fields will be measures, but not always. This is one of the cases, you know. What other cases could it be? A product ID or external ID? If you're using an ID from your and this external ID is a number, just a number, you can load it as a measure. You have to load it as a dimension because this number is not for calculations. This number represents the record ID. Got it? Okay. And here at the data manager, let's talk about loading data now. We have seen how to create the data sets. Over here, you can see the dimension. It's a measure. We can change because we're creating via the data set, the CSV file, sorry. We can change it to measure, but as you can see, it won't recognize because this has letters in it. So if I try to upload the file, it will result in an error because this is not a measure. This is a dimension because it has letters, okay? Or you can change to date and set the date format over here. And if you can even set the date format you want and apply it for all your date fields. If you're using multiple date fields and creating them at once with a CSV file, you can apply it to all your dates at once, okay? So this is the way of creating a data set using the CSV files. Let's see how to create all other different types of creating a data set, okay? This is right here. Let me show you how I get at the data manager. You can here at the homepage of the Analytics Studio has the data manager over here, or you can access, let me remove this, click here, setup, data manager inside the Analytics Studio, okay? And this is our data manager. This is the monitor where it shows everything that has run successfully, your connections and your data flows and recipes, okay? Let me get our connections over here. The connections are basically how do you connect data to your Salesforce org or to external connectors. either loading data inside Tableau CRM or pulling data from Tableau CRM and loading it into Snowflake or Tableau Online, like we saw that checkbox that we could load data from Tableau CRM into Tableau Online server, right? Those are the output connections. And this is our tables that we are loading from Tableau CRM. And this is the different connections. As you can see, we can connect with Google Analytics as well. Let me show you all the default connectors that we have. If you click here at connect to data, we have to have that checkbox of enable connections and data syncs enabled, right? For this to be enabled. And click here, add connections. Those are all the default connections. The Salesforce connection is the default connection for our org right here. Okay, is the one that we are using to pull the objects from this org. But we can use Redshift or external connector. We can connect our Tableau CRM with different Salesforce orgs. Suppose that your company has 3 different orgs, but it wants you to consolidate all the 3 orgs into just one Tableau CRM. You can do this using the Salesforce external connector. Okay. It has a Marketing Cloud and Marketing Cloud OAuth 2.0, Heroku Postgres, Microsoft Dynamics. You can load data from Dynamics here. Google BigQuery, Oracle, blah, 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 several one of them. HubSpot is better, is a brand new connector that was enabled very recently, okay? NetSuite. And all of these guys is to load data from an outside connector into Tableau CRM, okay? It's load data from outside. But if I want to, there are also MuleSoft connections and live connections. Live connections basically you don't load the data in Tableau CRM itself. You query the data directly inside your the original database, okay? Like the Snowflake or the Google BigQuery. These live connections have limitations, okay, guys? I'll send you the documentation later if you want, but you have limitations when you're using direct live connections. Sorry. Have MuleSet, and you also have output connections. Output, basically, we're loading our data inside Tableau CRM. For example, I want to load my Salesforce org data inside Tableau CRM and then export this data into Tableau Online, for example. You use the output connections. Now we only have Amazon AWS tree, but we can enable Tableau, as we saw. We can enable for Snowflake as well, okay? And once well, I have shown the connections, and these are my tables that I am bringing, okay? Here is from my Salesforce local org, and I bring these tables from Google Analytics as well, okay? If I want to connect more objects, suppose that I want to extract another new object that I created in Salesforce org, I want to bring here Tableau CRM. Well, we click at Connect Data, SFDC local. Let's select our object. Let's, as you can see, you have lots of objects over here. Customer, for example, and we click Continue. Here is the part where I told you about the integration user. If the integration user doesn't have access to the field into in the field level security, you won't be able to load to click and select the field to be brought here at this section. Okay, so that's why the integration user must have field level security, at least read access to the field to bring that field right here. You click Continue, and there's no data for this object because I have no data. But and I can even insert a filter over here. For example, the syntax for this filter would be SOCL, okay? It would be something, where close date equals to this year, something like that. You know, you can insert a filter to bring only a set of records, not all of your records, okay? And for external connections, you can even edit the columns that you are bringing. You can edit, for example, for Salesforce fields, you cannot edit. These are, you cannot change this. But for external connections, you can change the field label, the field type, if a text or a measure or a date, the default value, and the multi-value field. We're going to talk about this in a while, okay? After loading your object here, for example, we have profile. Let's show the opportunity. You have loaded the opportunity and you have 24 fields for opportunity. We have this, the connection mode. What's the connection mode? The connection mode, guys, is basically what type of data run you want to, how often, it's not how often, sorry. How do you want to refresh your object's data here in Tableau CRM? You can use the incremental sync. The incremental sync basically compares the data that you have loaded previously with the data that we have now into our org and only refreshes the differences, okay? This is the best performance of them all. But sometimes you may not want to use this, the incremental sync. Why? Because there are fields that Salesforce doesn't track the changes. What type of fields the Salesforce doesn't track the changes? Formula fields. If you use lots of formula fields in your objects and you want to bring these field values into Tableau CRM and you use incremental sync, your field can keep changing several times a day. It will always, if you use incremental sync, it will never track these changes because formula fields can have their change tracked, you know. So if you use lots of formula fields, you don't want to use the incremental sync, or use a periodic full sync. That's basically an incremental sync that once a week, I think Friday at 10 p.m., something like that, I forgot exactly the time, runs a full sync regardless of if the records are the same or not. Or you can use always the full sync. This is the ones that ensure that your data will always be refreshed compared to your org. But this also is the most the one that has least performance, you know. And you the more records you have in your org, the more you will take this to run, okay? And another rule from Tableau CRM, guys, always run your data sync. This is the one before your data flow. The data flow is the topic that we are going to cover right now. Here at the connection, as you can see, we can only load data into Tableau CRM. But what if we want to manipulate that data? What if we want to create fields, to change label of the fields, or to do something like that, create a new field, separate values in the fields into columns, or create buckets for some values? How can we do this? By using the data flow or the recipes. The data flow is basically an JSON instruction for loading data and transforming it inside Tableau CRM. Those are all nodes, okay? Extract quota. I am extracting the SFDC digest. That's the first one right here. Is the one that brings data from the Salesforce object into the data flow. But first, you have to run the data sync. Always run the data sync before running a data flow. Why? Because the data sync is the one that refreshes your data inside Tableau CRM. The data flow doesn't refresh. It only runs data and makes the transformations, but it doesn't refresh. The things that refresh the data is the data sync. Okay. Let's talk about the data flow for a while. It's a extensive topic, but I will cover in a short time, I hope. Those are the transformations for the data flow, as you can see right here. We have the SFDC digest, we have the digest, we have the edge mart. And what are these, Philip? Basically, the SFDC digest, like I told you, we are loading our data from your Salesforce object into the data flow. That's what it does. And we can even select the field. For example, let's suppose you want to change the fields that we are bringing for the quota object. Well, I am bringing all the, no, I'm not bringing all the fields. I'm bringing the ID, the amount, etc., etc. But I want to bring also the created date. And I want to bring the period ID as well, or the system mod stamp, okay? I can create this and save. If I save without propagating, I'm only bringing this field in this node right here. But if I propagate, all these fields that I just checked to be brought into the data flow will be propagated through my entire data flow, okay? This is very good for bringing new fields, but always take in consideration that the more fields you bring, the performance of your data flow run will decrease, okay? So the data, the SFDC digest, we bring the Salesforce object field, and we can even create filter conditions and complex filter conditions for loading the data. For example, I want to load all the quotas which the created date, for example, created date equals here, something like that, you know, and it will load only this year created date quotas. Okay. The next one is the digest. The digest does exactly the same thing of the SFDC, but for external connections. So if like here in my org, we have the connections with the Google Cloud, for example. How do I load Google Cloud data into my data flow? By using the digest. Okay, that's the only difference. SFDC digest for Salesforce organization, my default Salesforce organization, and digest for external connections. Okay, EdgeMart. The EdgeMart is the same thing of this shoe, but instead of loading data from an object from a connection, I'm loading a data set that was previously created. If I have created a data set previously from another data flow, for example, I can load this data set here using the EdgeMart. Oh, I want to load which data set? Let's load the account data set. And I have to create a name, and it will load the data set that I have previously created right here. Okay. The augment transformation. The append. The append. One of the most important. There, I'm going to come back here to my. Sorry. I'm going to change here to the append example so you guys can see the append transformation. If my internet allows, let me refresh the file. One of the downsides that you can see the data flow, as you can see, guys, of the data flow, the downside is that you cannot see what the transformations are doing. We have no visual tool. That's why I'm using this example right here, the append example, to display what the append transformation does. But the recipes, the new recipes, we have the ability to see the difference from the transformations. Okay. Basically, we have these two tables right here. We have the account, the opportunity. Pardon me, those are two different opportunities tables. Suppose that you are creating two different data CSV data sets with almost the same data, and you want to append them. Basically, append means that you are copying these and inserting below right here, just like that. This is an append, okay? But we have to take some things in consideration during the append. As you can see, you have name, amount, close date, and stage. And here you have name, amount, close date, but this close date is typed differently than this one, and stage. If we use the append transformation right here and doesn't check this checkbox right here, allow disjoint schema, this will result in an error. This one right here. Why this will result in error? Because those labels of our columns are different. That's what disjoint schema does. It allows you to append data with more or less columns or different column names. If you doesn't check this and your CSV files have different headers, your append transformation will crash and your data flow will crash. But if you allow the disjoint schema and your field labels are different, like this close date and close, the result will be like this. We have 5 columns instead of 4. As you can see, both of them only have 4 columns, but in the resulting file we have 5 columns, and half of them we have the close date, and the other values from the other table will be null, and these ones from this column we have the close date field with the underscore C, but the other values for this table right here, the first table, will be null. Okay, so when you are creating appends, take this in consideration. If you want these fields over here to be at the same column and not result in this, you have to change this field label or create a new field based on this one with the label matching this label over here, and then excluding this field from your order transformations. Okay, that's the append transformation. Now let's check the augment transformation. The augment transformation is one of the ones that we're going to use the most. The augment transformations, the ones that connect, it simulates a left join for the ones that you guys that you already have some database knowledge or data prep knowledge, you know. The augment transformations simulates a left join. What it does, let's suppose that we have a parent table and a son table. Which one is the parent? We remember the schema builder. For example, accounts and object and opportunities. The fathers are accounts. One account can have multiple opportunities, but one opportunity can only have one account. So the parent is the account and the child is the opportunity. Okay. And we have right here our table with the opportunity data. Here are the columns, and we have our account data, as you can see. Okay. If we do an augment and the oh, sorry, I apologize. This is the example right here. The left side, and take this for life, guys. The left side should always be the most granular level, okay? As best practice. This is not always possible, but as of best practice, the left side of our join or augment should always be the most granular. Which one is the most granular? The child relationship between a parent table and a child table. Okay, in this case, accounts and opportunities. Why, Philip? Because I'm going to show right here. If we do an augment, which field do we use to do an augment? The ID field of the director. For example, when you create a lookup relationship field in an object, it will relate this object, for example, opportunities to account is a lookup relationship that behaves like a master detail. But you can't see these in the opportunity table. You won't see the account fields. You only see the account ID field. That's the relationship you created. To see the account fields and the opportunity fields to create this relationship into the same data set, a data set resulting with the opportunity and account columns in a single data set, you have to use that augment transformation. And the most granular level should be the left, okay? If we do, we are augment here by the account ID. The opportunity has an account ID and the account has an account ID. I have labeled it with account name, but it's the account ID, okay? And the results table, as you can see, we have the same table, opportunity, blah, 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 with our accounts. And the relationship will be labeled account.name, account.industry, account.employees. Okay? And if there's an, for example, opportunity 5 here that doesn't have an account, for some reason, this opportunity doesn't have an account, it will be created like this, but all these accounts fields will be null, and the amount field will be 0. The number fields will be 0, and the dimension fields and date fields will be null if there's no match. Okay, from the left side to the right. Here is an example of what happens when you use the augment with the most granular on the right side. Yes, on the right side, okay? Look what happens. Now we are only seeing the account 3 columns, okay? And we have added the opportunities. But as you can see, we have 2 opportunities, opportunity 1 and opportunity 2 for account 1. But at the result of this right side most granular, we only have the opportunity 1. Why? Why does this happen? Because when you augment, Well, that's what happens when you augment with the right side, the most granular. Okay, and you don't enable this lookup multiple value over here. This is what happens. Tableau CRM will choose randomly one of the records that is the child and create this relationship. Which one? It's random. We don't know which one. It could be one, could be two, could be all the opportunities that have this account. It will bring only one. Okay. And at the final, if we use the right most granular, but we enable this lookup multiple value fields, we will have this result right here. It's the same thing from this table above from this table, but now, as you can see, we are bringing all the opportunities and all their dimension fields separated by a comma. This is what we call the multi-field here in Tableau CRM, guys. Multi-fields have lots of limitations. You can't use multi-fields for compute expressions. You can't create formulas with compute relative using multi-fields. You shouldn't group them in your data visualizations. Multi-fields are only good for one thing, filtering, okay? But this is the result of the multi-field, okay? That's the so when you augment with the right level, most granular, enabling the multi-lookup, that's the result you're going to have. All the dimensions separated and the date separated with a comma, okay? And the amount, the numbers will be summed. This number right here is the sum of the amount from opportunity 1 and opportunity 2, okay? This is what happens. So best practice again, always the left side should be the most granular. This is not always possible, but it should. And take in consideration the multi-field when you create this, the right side most granular multi-lookup, okay? Also taking this in consideration, there will always be data duplication if there are multiple matching between the rows. I don't understand, Philip. Let me show you. For example, as you can see right here, up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4. We have up 1 and up 2 both belong to account 1, okay? So when we create this relationship, we have 2 rows, account 1, agriculture, and 200 account employees. And another row for opportunity just account 1, agriculture, and account employees 200. So as you can see, we duplicated this account. This was just one account, but we duplicated. And what's the problem with this, Philip? I will show you. I created a lens just to show this. We have 2 different data sets right here, guys. We have one displaying the sum of employees per account, and the same thing, sum of employees per opportunity. But this is the opportunity data set, and this is the account data set. What's the difference? As you can see, on the opportunity, we have 7.4 million people working for United Oil. But at the account, we only have 145,000 people working for. So what is happening? Why the same data using 2 different data sets is displaying completely different numbers? It's because of the duplication. Right here, we are counting, we're doubling the counting duplicate times of the number of employees. Just like here, we are summing 200 twice because it's duplicated, okay? How do we fix this? You need to understand this concept, guys, because when you bring data from the parent object and a number, and you want to perform calculations with the number, you can't use sum. Otherwise, you will duplicate. You have to use the average. And now, why the average? Because it will sum all the values from the duplicate values and divide by the number of the rows. So it's like summing 200 with 200, 400, but divided by 2, because there are 2 rows, 200 again, the correct number, matching our account, okay? This is very important, guys. This is one of the most important concepts that you have to understand the when performing joins and augments using Tableau CRM. Okay, because this changes all the relationship data. I will share this link with you. This is the considerations that you have to have. Let me share here at the chat. And these are the considerations that you have to have when you're using augment or joins. Because again, when multiple matching rows occur, that it will always result in data duplication. Okay, so you need to address this and cover this accordingly. Okay. Next, the flatten transformation is a glue. Oh, but what have I done? No, please, no, don't do this. Here, the flatten transformation is a transformation that creates a multi-field as well, but you cannot. But this one is used to create for filtering for objects that have a self relationship. For example, if you want to flatten your account hierarchies, you can create a multi-field flattening your account. For example, we have our accounts, our industry, our employees, our parent account. So as you can see, account 1, the parent account is account 3. Account 2, the parent account is account 3. And account 3, the parent account is account 4. If we flatten, including the self ID, we will have this result right here. The account 1, we have the parent, account 1, account 3, the parent, and account 4. The account 2, we have the account 2, the 3, and the 4. Account 4, we only have the 4 because it has no parents. Oh, sorry, account 3, you have only the 4, and account 4 won't have the account because it has no parent. If I include the self ID, all the account IDs, the initial account IDs will appear right here. For example, here it will be, if I included the self ID, it will be account 1 dash account 3 dash account 4, comma account 3, comma account 4. The same for account 3. It will count account 3, comma account 4. Okay. Philip, why do we need to do this? To create filters. Suppose that you want to create, oh, I want to see my accounts by, if the parent account is that account, I want to see all the opportunities, all the accounts that have opportunities from that particular parent account. This is what you do. You have to flatten your account hierarchy first, and then you can create your multi-field value for filtering. Compute expression is the I know that I have very little time, but I'm going to run and finish this in less than 5 minutes. Okay. Compute expression is how do you create a new formulas inside Tableau CRM with the compute expression right here. Okay. Basically, we have two different columns, amount and probability. We want to create, oh, what the amount versus times the probability divided by 100 in percentage. That's the weighted amount. Okay. Basically, that's it. It creates a formula, multiplying and divided by 100 the resulting field. It will generate a new column, creating these calculations for each row. Okay. The same right here. This is a bucket that I generated via compute expression. For example, I want to create I have received a CSV file, or all the fields are different here at Salesforce. As you can see, there are Google with capital G, Google with lowercase g, Google lead, LinkedIn underscore LinkedIn, LinkedIn underscore in, LinkedIn. I want to bucket all these fields, all Google, all things that have Google in one Google result. So that's what I'm doing right here. A case when lead source, that's the column, equals Google, or lead source equals Google capital G, or lead source equals to Google lead, then Google. Okay. The same thing for LinkedIn, and the same thing for and at the end I inserted our else condition right here. Okay, because if anything that doesn't match these conditions for Google, for LinkedIn, I want label as order or other. Sorry. And the result will be this computed field right here. Google will be Google capital G, LinkedIn, and the other ones will be labeled as other. Okay, that's what compute relative does. The compute expression, sorry. The compute relative does the exact same thing, but now with different rows. Okay, here at the compute expression, I was computing the same row, the amount times the probability for this same row. But now the compute relative I can do with different rows. I can create another, for example. This is a historical field. For example, if you generate history tracking for a field, the history table will be something like that. Create a date for the history record, the field value, and the field change, and the field change, and the field change. We have changed the amount field several times a day, and you can for different days, and you can see these changes were tracked by here, and these are the records. So I can create an order. Which one was the first one? This one right here. I create a compute relative order comparing the created dates with this history records, and then generate a field called history, the order. Okay. And we can also create, in this case right here, the previous stage. We can compare the previous stage of the opportunity. Okay. As you can see, for example, the opportunity 1 was at this date, an open stage. At day 2, it was at open stage, but at day 3, it was changed to negotiating. So I can use compute relative to get the previous value for that particular opportunity at the same row. So the opportunity 1 open, and the previous stage we don't have because it was the first record. But on this next change, the previous was still open, and this next change is negotiation, but the previous stage was open. So this is how we can calculate different changes from the opportunities stages. For example, every time that you want to calculate something between different rows, you use compute relative. That's the main point here, guys. Okay. Let me run because I know that my time is ending. This is the dimension to measure. You can change a dimension to a measure. So let's suppose you have loaded by mistake some dimension measure as dimension in your data. You can change this right here, dimension to measure. This is the flatten transformation that I talked to you about. This is the prediction. We have to have a model, a prediction model deployed, and you can use this prediction node to score your values from your data set using the prediction. This is the filter where you can eliminate rows from your data set. The slice data set, the update, and SFDC register. This is the last one that we will always be. This is the one that creates the data set, guys, the SFDC register. Your data set will be created and updated after you use the SFDC register, the transformation, okay? And you can use the security predicate. We're going to talk about this later. The security predicate determines which is like a sharing setting for Tableau CRM data flows. You can hide some rows from some particular users that doesn't match some criteria. For example, the role hierarchy. You can use the flatten role hierarchy and restrict the access via the role hierarchy using the security predicates over here, okay? The slice data set is basically, I want to exclude some columns. Oh, I want to use this column X or this column Y. I want to exclude it from a data set. You can use the slice data set to exclude these columns from your data set, okay? Very, very, very quick. I know that Sheeba really wants me to stop, but it's very. Do I have still a little time, Sheeba? Guys, can you hear me?
Sorry, Philip, I was on mute. So yeah, we can. So it was supposed to be by now that we move to the next segment, but you can wrap it up.
It's very quick. It's very quick. I only show the recipes. Recipes, guys, is the same thing of the data flow. We have the same some different transformations, some new transformations, But as you can see, I'm loading my objects right here. Those are the SFDC connection objects I'm loading into. And this is a more graphical user interface. And the main difference between the data flows and recipes now that you can have and see the connections tables and columns here below. You can see what the transformations are doing for each node, okay? This is very helpful for people who doesn't have many data transformations skills, you know? And another main difference from the recipes to the data flow is these transformations, these 4 transformations right here. The detect sentiment, the predict missing values, time series forecasting, and the clustering algorithm. Those are all artificial intelligence transformations that basically detect sentiment and they do what their label says, you know. I encourage you to create your Tableau CRM environment and just create one of these transformations just to see what happens to your resulting data set and examine the result, okay? So you learn what each one of these transformations here does, okay? These are not available in the data flow. They are available here, only here at the recipes. And those are the main reason that you want to use your new recipes, data prep 3.0. Those are the recipes, new recipes, data prep 3.0 from now on, okay? And that's it, guys. I know that I extrapolated that time a little bit. There's a lot of topic to cover about the Tableau CRM, you know, and I will share with you my LinkedIn if you have questions about these topics. If you have want to interact, something like that, you can connect with me. Feel free to, and I will answer some questions after Sheba's presentation as well. Okay, please feel free to. Sorry about the delay, Sheeba, and please feel free to go.
Oh, no, it was you're within the time frame, no problem. Yeah, so everybody, you can ask some questions relating to the presentation. And I had a question, Philip. So for the formulas you used, what is the resource you tap to get the formulas? You can share the resources?
Sure, of course. We can, let me share my screen a little fast again. Tableau CRM use this language right here, the SQL formulas, okay? And we use this language. And here at the developer guide, SQL guide, there are all the formulas that you need to know. For example, the operators, the basic elements, the statements, you know. And these are basically all that you need to create the formula fields. Let me share this link with you guys at the chat. For creating your formula fields in the data flow and in the query themselves. We're going to cover query creation as well in the next event. And but all the documentation are right here, okay? So these are the documentations that you use to create your formula fields using SQL, okay? SQL stands for Salesforce Analytics Query Language.
Another question I wanted to ask was, is the knowledge of Salesforce imperative to be good at TCRM?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it helps, but one thing that the basic things that you have to understand about Tableau CRM is the integration user is a Salesforce mandatory concept, the field level security, of course, and the sharing for the object, because the integration user must have profile access to the object as well. This is not sharing, but and the sharing can be not, because you can. There are some standard objects like accounts and opportunities that you can inherit the sharing for your Salesforce org. So you need to have a bit concept of sharing to replicate these into Tableau CRM. But it's not fundamental to understand all the key concepts of Tableau CRM, because it's a very different environment, you know, and it has its own rules. I would say most thing you need to keep in mind is the integration user profile in the Salesforce part of the job, you know, and the sharing setting for standard objects. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. So if anyone wants to open their screens, and we can have a screen, we can also have a shot of ourselves, our session. And please open your mics and you can ask some questions if you have any.
Feel free to ask, guys, if you want to.
If you all can just open your screens for a few seconds so we can take a screenshot of us.
Some people are shy, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, it would be nice to just have a screenshot of this session. Okay, perfect. More people are opening their screens.
While people are opening up, Philip, like, do we need a separate license for this, for Tableau CRM, I believe?
Yes. How could I forget this? Thank you for this question, Sunil. How could I forget? This is one of the most important topics. Tableau, you won't find any permissions for Tableau CRM in Salesforce default profiles or anything like that. Tableau CRM, you need a special license called Tableau CRM or Plus or Growth, you know. And this is a permission set license. What this enables, with this permission set license, you enable your users to have access to different permission sets like Tableau CRM plus admin or Tableau CRM plus user. And these users must have these permissions to access Tableau CRM and have visualizations of the dashboards, even if the dashboards are embedded into Salesforce pages. You can embed the Tableau CRM dashboards in Salesforce pages, but to see those embedded dashboards, the user must have this permission sets license assigned to them. Okay. Thanks for the question, Sunil. Those are one of the most important. Another topic from Salesforce knowledge, like you asked, Sheeba, the permission set license.
And also, like, I believe if we have a dashboard, all the dashboard that we create for all the data is coming from Salesforce or multiple orgs, as you said, we connect them. And we can also expose that on Experience Cloud too, I believe, right? On Experience Cloud, Salesforce Experience Cloud?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You have to enable that checkbox that I showed you previously, enable Tableau CRM in communities, but you can.
Okay, communities, right there. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, that's it for now. I guess I've sent you a LinkedIn invite. We'll talk more on the other questions. So
sure.
They're working on some small project on exposing some data on the communities, but I guess we need to have the license first. So,
yes, probably yes. Probably your community user, you must have access to Salesforce Tableau CRM licenses. Probably.
And another related question is like, what's the pricing of that those licenses? Is it?
I think I thought it would be answered much more than me, a better answer, much more than mine, Sheeba. I have no idea, but I know they're one of the most expensive ones. I have no, to be honest, I have no idea of the price itself, but I've heard from several customers it's one of the most expensive ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do we need like some people might be just read-only license, some people are like, you say, like developing the data kind of thing, but they both would need a license then, right? Or they're separate kind of licensing, I don't know.
Both of them will need just if you are going only to see the dashboard itself, you still need the license. Okay. It doesn't matter if you are an admin or you will create the dashboards or visualizations, or if you're going just to see the dashboard, you need the license whatsoever.
Yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat it's about $2,000 per year per person.
My God in heaven.
Maybe there's some discounts on it. Maybe I don't know. Yes.
Okay.
Philip.
I think the price is not the problem itself. I think what really it's important is if I can use those data to extract some important and interesting information, is that what matters? What is the ROI that I will have, using the software to create some kind of models, some kind of statistics models, correlation models. And a question for Philip that I have is, based on that is, Philip, if this kind of formulas of statistic formulas, it's all included in the package, or you need sometimes to have some knowledge on statistics to create. For sure, you need to have some knowledge in statistics to create those formulas, itself, to extract some correlation and many other stuff that I can have, that I maybe can use.
Some of them are available, like standard deviations available, variance is available, but most of them you have to calculate using your own skills. For example, correlation you have to calculate by using the standard deviation divided by the average, for example, the coefficient, and something like that. Not all of them are available. And it's not like Excel that you can calculate even the significance with just one formula, but you can do we can accomplish several different statistical models and analysis, complex statistical analysis with Tableau CRM. And I agree with you. Most important than the price that you're paying is the ROI that you are giving back, because as we know, guys, data is the new gold, and it has lots of power, and it can drive your company skyrocket or rock bottom. And is what you get from your data and how you use it that matters the most. And having a Tableau CRM is a very top-notch tool that it gives you, covers 95% of all requirements that you may have. So what you do with your data is what matters the most, of course, but I think it definitely worth the ROI if you implement and use it correctly, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, can I request everyone to again do open your videos? We can just have a little symbol and take a shot. Thank you. Thanks. Right, good suggestion. Let's just have 2 victory signs, Jesse. So, okay. Right, smile. Thank you.
And I guess somebody else had a question too, I guess, right?
Please.
If anyone has questions, you can open your mic and directly ask.
And Philip, one more question on if somebody has to test it out, I know it's like the actual license, production license is more expensive, but if you were to test it out to see on DevOrg, is it available kind of thing? Or it's like you have to have a license before you do it?
No, it's available for any DevOrg. I think all DevOrgs now have Tableau CRM available.
Is it? Okay.
I think so. I need to check. But before 2019, that they were started, you have to create a special DevOrg. But now I think all of them have Tableau CRM that can be enabled.
Oh, that'd be nice. Okay, at least to test it out. At least good to know. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I encourage you guys to create your Tableau CRM environment and create one of the template apps to check how the template works, how the data flow generated works. You can, for example, create, let me share my screen really quickly. This won't take long, Here, go to your org and here at create, select app, and select one of these templates that you have. For example, this the most common one is the sales analytics. This one right here. Okay.
Right.
I create this, and this has I think 10 default dashboards and one data flow containing all the things that you need to start from just a click, and you can start analyzing your data. And by doing this, you learn how the data flow transformations are built, how the dashboards are built. You are going to see the templates. Oh, this is how they think, because Salesforce has a very cool template inside for dashboard. Their dashboards are very elegant and not polluted with several different charts. No, it's a big chart or with a table and small numbers to give you the precise insights that you want. Okay. So I encourage you, all of you doing this in your orgs, this is how you learn about Tableau CRM. Everything in life you learn about it by doing it. So this is what I encourage you to do. And also, I think Sheeba shared with you guys in the event page, we have a course, a complete course given by Ziad Fayad, the guy is a genius from Tableau CRM, and it's available for free at YouTube, you know, and is in it's in the link description of the event. Okay.
And I guess I saw a comment from somebody, they had some less than 10 licenses, but they are doing something on, maybe you can talk about it, Jesse, you can explain what they're doing, but they are actually using it for 350 users on the Experience Cloud. So technically you don't need license for everybody, I guess, right?
Right, we're still in the beginning of this project, but it's a managed package that uses Tableau CRM that we were using to collect surveys and data, and we have a special contact object that we've created for homeowners and home repair. And so we'll have about 10 Tableau CRM licenses that will manage that data. The admins, of course, will have them, but everyone else will be in a support role. They are fairly expensive. It's something that was definitely brought up in the whole project planning of this. But it's attached to a managed package called Social Suite that uses Tableau CRM.
Got it. And I guess the one thing is there, which as Philip mentioned, is basically ROI, because anything that you use, even why would people even use Salesforce too? Because you can keep your contacts in Excel sheet, but the people use Salesforce for a reason, right? So the basic comes to the ROI and what data that you get from there, and not the data, how you actually extract the information. I guess all the, Philip, you can correct me if I'm wrong, all the coronavirus data statistics that used to come on CNN and all the places, we're all using Tableau. I don't know the Tableau CRM, but the Tableau as such kind of thing, but it was all Tableau, which I heard Mark Benioff's comments long time back. So it got, you can see that whole thing. And I saw Philip's earlier presentation on other ones. He actually missed out on this one. A lot of cool dashboards. Like, I don't know, like Philip does a lot of cool, fun looking dashboards. Like he talked about a little bit of dry stuff at the back end today, but I guess maybe Philip, you should show some of the cool dashboards that you've done, right?
This is the most famous one, the Street Fighter one, where I compare the fighter attributes. As you can see, they are very dynamic, you know. This is one of the examples of the different dashboards that I built. And actually, there's this new cool feature that the new component allowed me to do, to display the special attack of the fighter just by hovering it. Those are dashboard components. We are going to cover all of these in the next event. And we have the special attacks for all different users. It takes a while to load, but as you can see, just by hovering the mouse into my different character, it changes the special attack. And as you can see, the dashboards are very dynamic, you know.
Right.
We can change to see the comparison of range by attribute or by all attributes. This is a comparison, the difference against the average, you know, to see the best fighters against the average or the worst against the average, you know.
It's basically the dashboards are good for like how you want to see the information, which is very cool kind of thing. And I guess that's comes back to the same ROI, I guess. Coming back to Jesse's comment too, you got so much of data at the back end, but at least what do you like to see kind of thing, like exported out kind of thing. So
exactly, guys, exactly.
We currently use Alchemer as our survey, and we pay for Alchemer licenses. And so the hope is that we will be able to replace Alchemer with Tableau CRM, and everything I see is just, it's 10 times better. So yeah, it really is very cool.
I have never used this one that you mentioned, but I think Tableau CRM is a very robust and of course it counts with all Salesforce trust and security, you know. So it is in my opinion, is not just because I work with it, but it's a very good platform and tool, you know. And like I said, we covered 95% of the business cases. Tableau CRM will nail it completely, you know. And you can even add with this new component widget, the Lightning components inside your dashboards. If, for example, there are several chart types in Tableau CRM, but suppose that you want to create a new chart type that doesn't exist in Tableau CRM. You can do this by creating a Lightning component and embedding it into a Tableau CRM dashboard. This is now available, you know. So it's very customizable. I think that's the most cool thing about Salesforce and Tableau CRM.
Yeah, and now I think we'll just have a rapid fire fireside chat, and I encourage everyone to please join the next session, which will be in April, which will be the part 2 of this session. So today, Phillip mainly covered data manipulation and loading the data inside TCRM. So next time will actually be actual dashboard creation and maintenance. So
dashboard creation, performance. Exactly. Sorry, Sheeba, sorry to interrupt you.
And also, Phillip, I guess it would be nice before the next meeting, like if you can send a kind of, okay, take a devog and do this small exercise so people can play around with it too. So they'll be much better understanding a dashboard kind of thing. Maybe you can, it'll be nice to have 1-page instructions for people to play around with it to see, create a simple dashboard. Yeah, that'll be nice kind of thing.
Okay, no problem, guys. No problem. The creating the sales app would be an awesome, but I will instruct you and type how to create the sales app step by step. And you can play with the dashboards. You can see how the dashboards work dynamically. I will cover all the topics on dashboard creation, okay? And query creation, as I will create multiple data sets query, some advanced query creation as well. You like it.
Yeah, we can do like session 2 or session 3 maybe later on, or maybe just after session 2, you can give, okay, this is how to go about it, so that people can like, it's great to see the presentation on the screen. Wow, it can do great things. But when you actually start doing it, oh my God, I don't know how to go, where to start, right? So, okay, sign up the devog.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah, so basically getting us some data, get the basic data, put it in, and this is how the dashboard will look like. And like at a high level steps, you've kind of done the whole thing up right now anyway, but maybe you can walk us through. That would be very helpful for a lot of people, I guess.
Okay, no problem at all.
Yeah, giving you some work over here, Phillip.
All right, now we move to the next round of fireside chat, and somebody has asked a question in the chat that she needs guidance for the job search, how to find entry-level jobs. So, Phillip, do you have any ideas? And
sure. First, let me start. I don't know if you guys know my story, but I'm not, well, probably not, because most of us are meeting up together. But here in Brazil, I was not an IT guy. I was a helicopter pilot, and I was a musician as well. Those are my 2 graduations. You know, I have no IT skills. And basically, I started learning Salesforce because I just by accident once attended a community event here in São Paulo. That event was about Einstein Analytics, by the way, my very first community event. And the speakers, none of them were IT guys. One of them was graduated into administration. The other one was graduated into veterinary. The other one was in marketing, but they all work with Salesforce. And I started thinking, whoa, how these guys doesn't have IT background as well, but they can work with Salesforce, they can learn it. So I thought, well, maybe I can learn it as well, you know. And I started doing trailheads. And basically what helped me the most the start of my career and looking for some jobs was getting certified. But since I was not from the area, you know, but getting certified for someone who is not from the area was very tough. So I combined a trailhead with some courses that we had from, for example, Udemy and Focus on Force. I used a lot of these materials to study for my admin certification, especially Udemy. One of the best courses I had to this day from an Indian girl called Arshana. her course was awesome and gave me the insight that I had to understand, because Salesforce, I understood what it was, but it was very abstract at first for me, you know. It's something, oh, I'm creating an object and I'm creating a field and now I create it, but okay, but what is an object and why I'm creating an object for, why I'm doing out of this, you know, these steps. At first for me, this was very abstract, and I didn't, I was doing the steps, but I couldn't understand what I was doing. So these courses enlightened me in a way that everything I learned about Salesforce today, I thank to these courses, you know, Focus on Force and this one for Arshana at Udemy. After I got my first certification, it was much more easier to get a job, at least here in Brazil. I don't know how is it for you guys there in other countries, but here in Brazil, everyone started looking differently to me, towards me, in job searching purposes. You know, I started having several different interviews per week. It was something like magic. I never seen something like that. I never experienced something like that at my life here in Brazil as a musician or a pilot, you know. And one of these companies gave me my first opportunity, and I'm very thankful for it. And it was Wings IT. And basically, this is how I started, guys. But if the question is how to get job interviews, how to enter the market, you know, the first tip that I will tell you is to get certified, but not get certified just by getting certified. Understand the concept, understand Salesforce, understand the product that you are going to work with. And most importantly, of course, do you really want to work with Salesforce? Do you really want to enter the market? If you really want to, okay, then make the decision and go head on. Learn stuff. Always learning. Udemy has and YouTube, even YouTube has several different for free videos that you can watch over and over again, explaining step by step how to understand, how to not just the click here, point there, and there you go, you have the new object, but you have the concept of why you are creating, why you are doing this, and these whys that you have answered are the ones that are going to make your career very much more smoother and great, because you will not be just a replicator. You will be a consultant. You know why you are creating a new object, or why we are not using a new object or using an object that already exists. You know, why are going to create a new field, or why we are not going to create a new field and use a field that already exists. You know, you need to be able to answer these questions, and this type of course and knowledge you have available for almost for free at Udemy, YouTube, Focus on Force. And those are the tips I give you guys who are really wanting to enter the market and getting job interviews, you know.
Yeah, I agree with Philip. I feel the lifelong learner is a very good attitude to embrace if you want to be in Salesforce, because it really releases in a year. So you have to keep on top of all the knowledge that's coming in, the new features and everything. So also keep on attending the community events, because people like Philip are giving out there so generously, giving their knowledge to everyone. So benefit from that. And it helps to, in your interviews, if you can do some self-driven projects where you can do on the trailhead, or so I've seen people building their own experience cloud sites. They create their own little apps. So those are great things to just talk about, and you can actually have an entry-level job just by doing that. So hope that helps. We are actually now going to be entering to the next session. Philip, you want to share some, last advice about the greatest the attitude that can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy while being in the Salesforce ecosystem?
Don't be a, oh, I know everything guy. You'll never be no one knows everything about anything, especially about Salesforce, that gives at least 3 new releases per year, guys. Don't think that you'll learn everything that has to be learned. Don't think that you are the badass just because you created a very cool and useful functionality. You know, there's always something new to learn. Keep that mentality, and you will always be, really, you will be thrive, and you will be surprised how far you will go just by knowing that you have to learn. And of course, don't stay at the same place. Keep improving yourself. Oh, I need to learn this. Let's study this. Let's focus. Oh, then I'm going to learn about that. Focus on that. Sheeba gave an awesome tip about community events. Every new community event that I go, I learn about something new, something that I had no idea. Something about flows or something about different web component pages, anything. You know, you learn about something and you understand that there's a lot to learn about everything. So that's I think that's at the same time the best thing you can do, and not following this is the worst thing you can do. Acting like you are the man, like you know everything, like you are the guy. Don't act like this, guys. Keep the learning mindset, and man, the possibilities are endless.
Now we can, thanks, Philip. We'll move on to the next section now. So being respectful for the time everybody's here for. So moving on to the next session, which is Notion. So me and Sunil will present the things that we have learned about Notion. We started implementing Notion in Kind Cause around 2020, late 2020. And we found that Notion is a combination of many tools, and we felt it combines within itself Jira and Confluence features. So you can, there's a lot of abilities within this tool, and continues to impress us by number of things that can be done. I'll share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
You see 2 screens.
Okay.
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so this actually just demonstrates a new platform that I've opened, a new Notion platform. So I basically just signed up with Google, and it was just simple, free. You can sign up for free and avail most of its features. It's just a team sharing that's a pro feature, but you can still, in a limited way, share with your couple of your team members in the free license as well. But most of the features are available for free, and you can just sign up with Google. And then there is so this is where you can actually, I'll go to the first tab, which is a quick note. And then you can see the fonts here available. I usually use just default and serif. And it's good to have small text and full width to make the most of the space in Notion. And everything in Notion is actually divided into these blocks. You see these blocks. And it's very easy to quickly make a to-do list. And if you see these blocks, you can delete, duplicate. And then if you move here, you can see you can create to-do lists, headings, bulleted list, numbered list, toggle list. So it's really quick and easy. Oops, for instance, I just created this. Sorry, you can just make a bulleted list from here, or this is a to-do list. So it's just this. And then you can create a sub list from here. Again, same thing from here. There's shortcuts, which I've mentioned here. So every page you can have an icon. You go here and you can either upload an image, or you can go to the link. So link, you can go to, say, this link here, notion.vip. So if I go to link here and paste this and submit, oops. And as you see, you can add covers, but
No, you didn't paste a link, maybe submit it. Yeah. Did you get no? You didn't put the right icon link. That's the thing. You have to go click on the icon. You didn't select an icon.
yeah, like for instance, this one, if I want to put Apple, I'll just copy it here and I'll paste the link and
You hit link on the link. Yeah.
paste the link and submit, and that icon comes here. So there's a lot of icons here within this. You have icons here within, say, boba. You have a boba tea here. I can change cover. You can upload. You can link it, copy and stuff like that. It's the same way. There's a lot of covers. You can make it really vibrant. So all that is there, and then you can, everything is in Notion is as a block or as a page. So that's about icons, fonts, and sign up. We've done that. And then background color. So for instance, here, this is a sub page, and I created the background color for this by going to the font, and you can just select the background color. And there are shortcuts that I've mentioned here, Command Shift H. You can duplicate blocks, you can rename blocks. You have bulleted list, as I showed earlier, like for instance, here in this, you can have a bulleted list like this. And then there's also just shortcuts for that too. So you can just copy and paste. You can highlight this, copy and paste really quickly to create a list, or you can just go from here and just have more bulleted list. Then you can have inline table like we have it here. And then within this, you can open from here like a new page. So it has a lot of navigation advantages. You can create pages within pages, and then you can link it up. You can have tags. So if I want to add a tab here, user group, I can just add tabs like this. So this is an inline table. And then you can make columns. So like I did here, I could make columns Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I created my agenda. And so you, like for instance here, if I want to add more columns, Friday, I just go pick up this tab and I can make it like this. So you can make columns like this. There are widgets available. Like for instance here, these are all widgets, they're templates. People's directory, reading list, all these are like widgets. So I could create a calendar, content calendar. So there's a lot of capabilities in this, and you can just go to the start off, and there's a lot of starter help. The template's already ready for you to use. You can just use this template from going to this link. You use the template. And about databases. So toggle is a very important feature. Toggle is basically.
These are notes for today's presentation from Philip. I just put that another one.
Huh? What's that?
The Tableau is the presentation. I put the Philip's. Anyway, I will cover it up in a few minutes.
Yeah, and I think Sunil will take over from. So for instance, if I need to toggle, I can just make it from here. So you can either go from there or you can do / and then toggle. And then you can just go and put things in there. So you have those things just collapsed in. So those are the kind of Confluence features. Then in addition to that, you can also connect to Slack channel here. So if you connect to Slack channel, this particular, any changes here or any additions are notified to you through Slack, which is a really neat feature, which also you can find in Jira and all. So it's similar to that. Right, and for databases, I'll give it over to Sunil to explain. I'll stop share. Or Sunil, you want to?
Yeah, I'll just take it over right now. 1 second. Share my screen. Can you see my screen, guys? Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Great. Excellent. So basically, what I did was, like, while I was listening to Phillip, like, I just a more practical example, a little bit, like, okay, I was listening to Phillip today and say, okay, hey, let's see, we've keep on forgetting stuff. We covered a lot of stuff. We listened to a lot of things. Says, okay, it's Tableau presentation, today's date, done by Phillip. I didn't put a full name yet. And okay, he gave an article. I just put a bookmark of the article. So basically click on it and I can go back to the actual article, what he kind of referenced out. So you have the article kind of referenced over here, that the help section, what Phillip had mentioned over here. So you can just go back to the article here. Next thing, for example, like say, hey, links to the documentation and other stuff, like I created separate pages, like toggle pages, you might call it, or anything. So that's another couple of links that Phillip shared. We have that. Somebody shared another link for Tableau. So basically it's like knowledge sharing, but you're keeping it with yourself. Tomorrow, if I need to find something, I can go back and I can search for anything. Tableau, automatically the stuff will show up over here too. So basically, as you go along, it's like a more like a, I don't know if people have used, this is like, as Sheeba mentioned before, let me show you. People have used different tools. One is Confluence. People have used Jira. A lot of companies use it, like all the big companies typically will be using Confluence and Jira. They're one of the industry leaders. We pick up all the Fortune 500 companies at the back end, they're using Confluence and Jira. But thing is, you need to have Confluence is more like documentation tool. Jira is more like a ticketing tool. The competitors for that is Coda, for example. People might have used that or heard about it. Notion is you just go like Sheeba had mentioned, you can sign up for free. And this is a pricing page. Like I said, okay, let's cover it up. So basically, personal plan is free. So you can start using it for your personal side. And the business plans, like you have like a team, that's like the paid plans. But thing is, at least the personal plan is free when you start with it, right? I call basically Notion more on like Google Docs on steroids. The reason I call it on steroids, for example, like I was taking down notes on Tableau, I could basically, it's rather than keeping a Google Doc, I kept separate links over here. So I can go to multiple links. For example, I took a screenshot while Phillip was presenting and okay, this one looks like this. Then I can say, okay, this was this. And I can basically say, okay, that talks about, and I can add my notes on over here about what it is, right? So basically all my thoughts that's coming in, try it out myself, kind of thing. So we can actually use that. Now, another interesting part, like I was like, okay, example one, like Phillip was explaining some stuff. I said, okay, I found that interesting. So let's take a screenshot. I'll have to refer it back because sometimes even you're watching a YouTube video, you forget stuff. You understand the concept, but I say, I want to look at the screenshot one more time. So I can take a screenshot, put it over here and put a link to the YouTube video and say, okay, if I want to listen to the presentation, I can go back again, right? Any of the guys basically have been using like a Notion before kind of thing? You can just say thumbs up or something like that through your chat kind of thing, or you can use the emojis kind of thing. Sheeba, I can't see the chat, but if people have using Notion yet, or your first time you're seeing Notion right now?
Let me see. So can you do this thumbs up?
Yeah, thumbs.
Only yeah.
First time, a lot of people see Notion for the first time.
It's the first time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically for people who are seeing for the Notion for the first time, it's a best thing is to sign up for a free account, play around with it yourself. It is more like, I would call it like, it's like Google Docs. It's, if you see look and feel, it look like one page, look like Google Doc document, right? But the shared features, like Sheeba had mentioned over here, is you can actually have full access to Sheeba. I can copy link and share with people, or I can share to the web. It becomes like your website. And I can say, okay, do I want to allow editing on this page? I can share it with anybody else. Or I can say, no, I will share on the web, for example. So let's go back and you can test it out, you guys. So let's open up a page here. So let's say Tableau presentation. If I were to take this page and share it. So this page is not shared. So what you can do is you can only share a section of the page. For example, I want to just share this page with everybody, not the full thing. So for example, I will just share it in front of you. And I'll say, okay, share it on the web. Anybody can view. I copy this. And let me put that in the chat. And you should be able to see this page now, right? I'm not really sure you need to sign it up, but actually I think so share on the web. I'm testing it out for the first time. This is a kind of separate, can people view it? That's great. So basically what happens is just in case you're like, it's very quick and easy. Like while I was doing it, I was just creating stuff while I was talking to, like Phillip was talking, I just taking some notes, just add this link, for example. What I did was I just took this link, copy this link, and I went here and like Control V, just paste it out. I say, okay, you want to create a bookmark or embed, right? So basically, just created a bookmark for me, and it gives you a nice looking bookmark over here, help in training, right? Automatically here, right? That makes sense? Any questions? Feel free to ask me a little bit. So I just want to give you a little bit intro because Tableau is also like a CRM tool. It's not like Salesforce dynamic, but thing is you have like same kind of privacy controls, you might call it. Like I shared the page, you were only seeing this page, you're not seeing this, the other documents that I have kind of thing. So you can have the child pages exposed to people, not everything else. And to have any of the pages, you can actually move just like this and it become the child page over here. So automatically my dashboards became a child page over here. So I believe you will be able to see other pages too, kind of. And the page showed up over here as a separate page. Some of the practical applications, like people see, like, hey, as Sheeba mentioned, their templates are there. And for example, like say, this is for his calendar view. Now I just put a kind of a task automatically. It is linked, is coming automatically over here. Now how this is showing up is this is like my activity I plan to do. This is my lesson. It's empty. I put some comments over here. I changed the due date from here to say 30th to say April 9th. And what happens is it's gone to a different date. This is April calendar. Basically, what you can do is over here, you can turn your lesson, what you want to do, you type your notes, all the stuff, you can put your screenshots, everything is all there. And you have everything in a calendar view. This is test assignment due. I can click on it. I can keep on taking notes on any stuff I want to do over here, right? Sheeba did mention widgets. Let's see, quick note shared. Yeah, widgets. I was playing around with the widgets. There's a kind of, I went to this link. So there are a lot of widgets, like Salesforce has got apps, you've got different apps depending upon what you want. So you can just imagine there's a lot of stuff over here. So depending upon what you want, you can keep on connecting with anything you want to connect with, right? Airtable is another database tool people use. So if you go back to the widgets, for example, I say, hey, countdown clock, right? I just basically pasted a link. So this is like a countdown clock will look like, right? And I say, okay, I want to make it bigger. I want to make it automatically. It just formats it automatically. So it's very nice and easy way to use it. Another widget basically is like the weather widget. So I just put the test widgets right now. So automatically, yeah, I'm not able to modify it. And basically, it's pretty straightforward, just the weather showing up. Quote of the day. And there we go. The quote shows up every day. So basically, I would like to see a quote on the day so I can share it. And technically, you can actually even make a website with this and share it on the web with anybody out there. And also, like, it was pretty straightforward. Like Volta, I have not tried other Notion, other stuff, but the way I did was like Google Calendar. I've not tried that. Let's say the way I did was the weather widget was, I just copied this. I've not logged into the account. Just copy this, go to this page. I can create another page. Just click on it. A new page is created. Test page. And I say, okay, create a bookmark or embed it. Basically, automatically, it goes and puts the weather right now. So once you go back, you can go back and set up in the settings, and you can change the weather to your location. Or, for example, if you're dealing with multiple clients, multiple geographies, you can have weather for different countries, different cities, kind of thing. So when you're talking to your client and you can have time clock, everything set up based on the different widgets that you have. Right? Any questions anybody has? Feel free to ask me the kind of thing. Right. I guess maybe. All right. On the templates, Sheeba, like for example, let's see the course schedule we're looking at. Any of this, you've got multiple stuff which is out there. It's a different view of same thing. You can have the same. You have like lessons, for example, all organized lessons. Automatically, it is a complete list over here. For example, if a lesson is there, I add a new lesson, a test lesson, and I say, okay, when is it due? Basically, maybe it's due on the 30th, right? I have to do some assignment. I can set it up like a Civil War, whatever it is. And you can use it for in your Salesforce environment, like Tableau CRM with the Tableau desktop version, or any kind of topics like Sheeba showed you to add up on. Now, I add it as a lesson over here. When I go to all, test 2, you see all, test 2 shows up automatically here. I say, okay, it is Civil War, automatically it has picked up the stuff there. If I go to the calendar, I believe it should show up there too. Yeah, so test 2 shows up over here. That's the due date. And if I want to go down to all again, you say, hey, I need to take some notes on that. I have some thoughts coming in. I can just basically write down my notes over here. Right? Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's a nice tool to use. Best part is to learn is by doing, as Philip was saying too. And maybe Philip, what we can do is when you send us the kind of notes, I'll put out like a separate section over here for people who are interested to do stuff. We'll put the guide a little bit so that people get step-by-step guide. And what you can do is like we can create some, like this is the presentation from today, is right. So I said, okay, let's not lose all your links, all your knowledge. We forget stuff after 1 month, or hey, I want to see that one small dashboard, right? So we can come back and look at the tools and the links and everything there too, kind of thing. All right, this is like a high-level overview kind of thing on Tableau. So it's basically, as like Sheeba mentioned, it works like kind of like a database too, because it's pulling, like you're putting the data separately. It doesn't make a difference. It's pulling the data based on this. But if you want, it's like an Excel sheet from one way. I just want to say filter. Filter only on assignments view. It shows only assignments right now. So I can remove the filter and say, okay, like go back to filter again and say, okay, I just want to only see the lessons. I don't want to see the assignments, right? So it's kind of Excel filter, if you might see it in a few ways. So if you want, you can filter on anything. I remove the filter from here. I see all the data is there, and I can go back and filter on, say, the different topics here, pre-revolution. So I go back and filter only on the, say, pre-revolution. So it's filtered the data for me. So that means on this topic, I've got this, right? So basically, even you have like Tableau CRM, I can have different categories. If I want to add more stuff, I can keep on adding more kind of columns over here based on different criteria, filter criteria you want. It's a simplified version of Tableau CRM, what Philip was showing you guys. So maybe it's for your personal way that you can use it, kind of thing. All right. Okay.
Now I think because it's time, it's 10:30. So let's just be mindful for
yeah, sure.
time. So just want to do a quick poll to know the audience profile we had today.
Oh, I did not, yeah.
14 people have responded to, haven't yet. Do you want to do, or it's going to close in 20 seconds? All right, I'm ending it. Share results.
And I guess after some time, you start having live meetings too. And Phillip, feel free to fly down to the Bay Area someday. Great to see you in person.
We'll be glad to. We'll be glad to.
That'd be awesome.
So it's funny to see that, okay, you're a helicopter pilot, maybe, I don't know, helicopter is pretty big, long flight, but you see how people are
Not
changing.
that long. Not that long.
Is it?
not from here to Brazil to there. Definitely not.
But it's funny to see. It's good to see that you're the first person I come across who has a pilot going to Salesforce world, right? I know I've heard stories like Sheeba told me stories of people with hairdressers and people are doing other stuff, but musicians, and I guess both of them are the first I've seen.
So the analysis for the polls was that 57% are from United States, 21% Bay Area. India is 14%, Brazil is 7%, and that's the result. So yeah, United States
Outstanding, guys.
majority and Bay Area.
I
So
hope you guys liked it.
it was awesome. It was really awesome. I think everybody who's here would benefit the maximum if you attend the next session as well. So
Definitely.
And I
try.
guess like Phillip, like session maybe 2, or maybe after the session 2, maybe kind of create like a sample guide kind of thing for people to steps, like 10-step process to set up your own fun kind of dev org with a dashboard or whatever it is, right? So I guess by doing, people learn more rather than listening to, because listening is great to understand the concepts, but if you don't do it, and even if people are looking for jobs, right? So, hey, I think so, yeah, I listened to Phillip, he made a cool dashboard. I said, he can do it, I'll give a job to him, not to you. So, so we have to do the projects ourselves kind of thing too.
Right. And then going to the next part, which is Grapevine. So you know that Trailblazer DX is coming up. So hope everybody has registered. I'm going for in person 2 days. So hope to see some people there. Also, Ukraine crisis, want to acknowledge that. We should all do our bit to help in the crisis in whatever small manner we can. And there was this very nice article in Salesforce Ben, how many flows should you have per object? So many times we are trying to understand the best practices. So I find Salesforce Ben is a very good resource for every little question we have. And I really like this article in particular. And there are motivational quotes. Move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you're willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. That really resonated. So the other thing is a lot of things that Flow team is doing in Salesforce admin team. So there are these couple of links. I'll share this Canva document in the chat and you can try to look it up. Very nice flow concepts in cool short videos shared. So for especially those who are new to this concept, so new to flows. And yeah, how to customize the Salesforce notification tips. So that was another thing. I've already shared the links and that was it for our today's session. Phillip, do you want to ask quick questions?
Sure, guys. Let's see if you are. I'm gonna make 4 questions for you. Let's see if you pay attention to what I explained.
Sheeba, you can see your screen. You can stop sharing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you about one thing. What's the top 2 considerations you need to have when you are using the Augment node in the data flow? Do you guys have? I explained this. Let's see if you pay attention. The top 2 considerations when you are setting an augment transformation in your data flow? Feel free to try one at a time. Let's see in the chat. Anyone wants to give a try? Or should I answer it right now? The top two considerations when you have to have when you are using the augment transformation, guys, and the joins transformations is the same thing. First, the most granular level should always be in the left as a best practice. That's the first one. The second one is if you have multiple rows matching keys in both sides, right or left, that this will always result in data duplication. Okay, always. If you have multiple matching IDs. Okay. Keep in mind this one. This one is very, very, very common and will be very useful for you in your journey learning about Tableau CRM. Do you know what type of fields are not allowed into compute expression nodes or compute relative nodes? I'd also explained about this. What type of fields? Almost. But no, I think it's pronounced Jiv Yazri. I don't know if I pronounced correctly, but those are, it's not formula fields that are not allowed. Anyone else want to try? What type of fields are not allowed in compute expression nodes? Again, guys, the multi-value fields. What's a multi-value field? Do you remember? No, the roll of all fields from Salesforce are allowed except of one. Which field from Salesforce is not allowed? The multi-pick list field. The multi-pick list field is a multi-field inside Tableau CRM. It's not the only way to create a multi-field inside Tableau CRM, but it's one of the ways. If you create a multi-pick list field inside Salesforce, it will convert into a multi-field inside Tableau CRM. What are other ways to create a multi-field? An augment transformation where the right field, where the right part of the table is not the most is the most granular one. Okay, if you invert the order and you use or use a flatten transformation, you generate a multi-field, and this field is not allowed to do compute expressions or compute relative nodes. Okay. And I have one last question for you. This is one of the most, but I think you guys will understand. Who has to have access to the field in Salesforce for this field to be available for data syncing and connections in Tableau CRM? Which user? Anyone? Nope. Nope. No. None of them. The integration user, guys. The integration user. This is the user that this profile must have access to the fields and the objects. Doesn't matter if you as an admin doesn't have access to the field. If the integration user has access, you will be able to see that field in Tableau CRM dashboards and data flows and stuff. You know, the integration user must have access to the field. Okay, memorize this. Those were my questions, Sheeba, if you want to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was a good knowledge revision, right? Now, I hope everybody has filled that document for Wheel of Names, because I'm now going to spin that wheel and your chance to get your $25 swag card. So is everyone okay with me spinning now? Last chance. If you have,
screen, Sheeba? I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to still get some more time, let me know. But this is the names I have, so I'll go ahead now. shuffle, and I'm going to spin.
Somebody's name is not there. I do not know. Did you?
It's okay. Everybody got a chance to put their names in, right? If you want to still call out, want more time, let me know and I stop. And
Yes, a couple of people. Who's this? Sida. My name is not there. Can you just put her name?
did you not find the document?
You can type it in yourself. Okay, Sheeba, you can type the name. SI.
All right. I did that. Anyone else? Or we just move ahead now, okay?
There's another one, Divya too. One more.
Divya.
Divya Suri. Suresh. People didn't see the document, I guess. I don't know. That's one word, Divya's.
Okay. Sorry. We don't have to do this.
Suresh, one more. And we got Revati. Revathi.
All right. All right. I'm shuffling the names again, and now I'm spinning, right? 1, 2, go. Are you there, Mudeshwari?
Yeah, I'm there, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Apart from winning from the Wheel of Names, I would also want you to mention our group, San Ramon admin group in the social media, and talk about a couple of things at least that you learned from today's session. Right? To win that card. Is that fair?
It's fair.
Yeah, because this is knowledge sharing and networking session, and it would be great to know what you really learned from the session, and the gift card will be yours. Yeah. All right, and that's it for, we are good on time, and thanks so much, Phillip. It was amazing and very generous of you to teach everyone the Ohana, all the knowledge. Tableau is such a great tool, and it's also getting featured in Trailblazer DX conference. I'm really looking forward to learn more and more about this tool. Thanks everyone for taking out your time from your Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and attending this session. Thanks everyone, and all the best and in your pursuit to learn more and more about Salesforce and all the different components in it. Bye-bye and have a great weekend.
You too, guys. Thank you so much for this invitation. I hope you guys liked it. See ya.
Thanks.
Right. And also one small tip for people who want to save the chat, there are 3 dots on the right side of the chat. You can actually save the chat, any links which are there. You can do that too.
Yeah, and big thank you to Sunil, who's always adds so much more value to every meeting. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Maybe have next time we have an in-person meeting. I know like a couple of people. Martin, I guess you're in from Livermore area. I don't know. You can see that.
Oh, really? Okay. Then you should be doing some in person, and then we can actually meet in person as well.
Yeah, we were planning to do this like gradually things are opening up. We might do in person. We might fly other people, and other people can come in too. More people to join.